West Ham are back in action in the Premier League this Wednesday as we take on Newcastle. The Geordies coming down after an emphatic victory over Manchester United this weekend. And of course, the Hammers coming off the back of a 1-0 victory in that relegation 6-pointer against Southampton on Sunday. I hope you are all well. This is the match preview for West Ham versus Newcastle. The games are coming thick and fast in April. There's plenty of them as we are here once again to preview the next one. I'm joined by Phil for the preview. Phil, how are you?
I'm good, thank you, Jake. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad at all. Feeling a lot better about things after that win on Sunday. Where's that sort of put your frame of mind ahead of this game?
Well, it was good to get the win anyway. I don't think we was expecting a classic game or a stellar performance. We just got the 3 points that we desperately needed, and obviously it puts us right up higher up the table. It's sort of almost the best of the bad bunch, so to speak. But yeah, look, it's still going to be a very tough game playing against Newcastle. They're in a pretty decent form, so if we can get more motivated for this game, tell the players to go more attack-minded, then who knows, we could get a repeat of our performance when we played them in a reverse fixture.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. I think it's quite a quite a relatable and easier sort of route to get a point against this Newcastle side, because they are well documented to have the best defense in the league, and on paper you probably think it's not, but they have defended really well. It's been their sort of main thing. They haven't conceded many goals, but then they haven't, up until that game on Sunday, they've had that sort of blip in the Premier League where they haven't been scoring as many goals. Almiron went a bit off form, whereas so they weren't conceding goals, but they weren't scoring goals, which resulted in a lot of 0-0s and 1-0s, and I think it was 1-1 between us and them at St James's Park. But I think it's an achievable statement to get a draw against them, but we've just got to try and take any confidence we can up against a side that are going to be bouncing from confidence after their win on Sunday equally.
Yeah, it is. At least they're getting wins, and they've still got that confidence and fight to get every point. That's why they are where they are in the table. It's if we can go and get another draw, then obviously it's not a win, but it's better than losing, and it's how you perform as well. Like if we go back to that reverse fixture, apart from the first 5 minutes of that game where it was all a bit up in the air with the disallowed goals and then them scoring from it again, we played really well. We brought the game to them. I think we were the first team to score against them in ages, if I remember rightly. So, if we get that sort of confidence and hunger, and we've got the home crowd as well. That's going to be the big thing. So they're going to be up for it, especially when it's under the lights, mid-table. We can really take the game at them if we believe in ourselves.
Yeah, and I think sort of the under the lights of London Stadium's got to play a key factor into it, because I noticed when we scored that goal on Sunday, I was obviously there at the London Stadium, the crowd, started to get behind the team, and there was, they were banging the sides and trying to get some atmosphere going in there. And hopefully there's a bit more, positivity around the fans that are going to enter that stadium on Wednesday. Go, I think it's quite, not easy, but I think it's quite achievable for us to pick up a point against this Newcastle side. So let's go in under the lights. Let's not make it easy for them. And it is Eddie Howe against David Moyes. It's probably two sides of the manager spectrum, as I suppose you would call it that. Eddie Howe, great young manager. He's sort of solidified a very, very good foundation of a Newcastle side. They didn't go crazy with the money. They're slowly progressing up, and and everyone can see where they're going. But I think we can get something off of them. We've got to take the confidence, and the fans have got to take that from Sunday as well.
Yeah, because it's like they got exactly what you said about Eddie Howe and the foundations that he brought in at Newcastle, and obviously all that money they've got as well. They're building a great side. They're doing it gradually, but they can still they're still open to vulnerability, especially against a scrappy team like us who's fighting for relegation safety. So it's going to be an interesting one. That we know what Moyes is like and how he likes to set up, especially in games where we wish we should be attacking in. So they're going to he'll probably get his number on that one. But if we just go out there, just get the shackles off, really, we can attack them. We can get something out of them if we if we scout them well.
Let's hope so. Let's see, we've got in the chat this evening. Usual suspect. Hope you are well. Sharky as well. The regulars are coming in. Luke as well. Hope you are all well. Linda, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Usual suspect. So Sullivan was told to get a Potter, and he came back with Grayson Perry. Anyone know who that is? Am I a bit too young for that joke?
I know Grayson Perry.
I don't.
I'm sure it's someone who's on telly anyway, but I know the person.
Contemporary artist.
Yes,
Grayson Perry. Okay, there we go. Good usual suspect. We got there. In terms of Newcastle, obviously we mentioned that reverse fixture. They were without Bruno Guimaraes for that game because it was in between that red card incident and the Carabao Cup final. So their vision may have been on that slightly, which may have impacted things. And of course, they were without probably one of their best players in Bruno Guimaraes. He's expected to be back in there, which is going to give the game a sort of different dimension to it as well. So him being back in there where he wasn't for the reverse fixture is obviously massive for them, and that'll give them a reason, an incentive, and a reasoning for them to go on and think they can beat us. Obviously, where they are and their good form this Sunday.
Yeah, well, that's what happens really when you lose your key player. Then you always notice a difference in how you play as a team. So when you have someone like Guimaraes, who's been he's been a mainstay in that midfield for them since he joined the club, and he's done really well there, and he's bossing the league. Him playing, it's going to be tough because he's going to be pulling the strings for them, but it's down to us to hit his weaknesses, take him down really. So if we get his number, and then as long as we know how to mark everybody else up, we could get something out of it.
Yeah, players with a lot of sort of fear from this Newcastle side. Obviously, they've hit that bit of form. Callum Wilson was back amongst the goals on Sunday alongside Joe Willock. But a couple of players I did want to mention who we've mentioned there in terms of Bruno Guimaraes, and also it's Alexander Isak as well. I think this one was it in the summer or in January. I'm not too sure, but he picked up an injury which put him out, and he's sort of slowly getting to where they expected. They paid quite a lot of money for him. A very, very well sought after striker in Europe, and he's just slowly getting to that stage where he's starting to get a bit of a run going in terms of goals and appearances in that Newcastle side. A proper striker, someone that can always cause us problems, I think. Yeah,
well, I mean, if he was playing for us, he'd be useless, to be fair. But that's how it is, they did pay an awful lot of money for him, and he started off all right before he got his injury. So it's good news for Newcastle anyway that he's back, and he's getting back to how he was. Same with Guimaraes, even Callum Wilson. He's always scores against us anyway.
He always scores against us, so that's definitely something to keep an eye on, isn't it?
So he's the first person we're going to be trying to mark up, I reckon. As it was Isak's going to play, then don't know. It's going to be difficult. We'll probably get a goal now.
Yeah. They've got, and as we mentioned earlier, they've got those solid foundations there with a very good goalkeeper in goal in Nick Pope. Solid, and it's, stats can back it up. Defensive sort of, backline, best in the league, etc., etc. A midfield that is good, but it can be improved. And there, Bruno Guimaraes and a couple of others, it is good, but it can be improved. A front line of when they're firing of maybe Wilson, Isak, and Almiron and St. Maximan in there as well. Every single sort of area of their side on paper looks really good, and they are there for a reason. I think they're sitting in the Champions League spaces as we currently speak, and they've sort of done, and I'm always linked in his pre-match press conference, like sort of a Newcastle to us last year, where we dropped out of the sort of Champions League stages this time last season, and they've sort of done a West Ham, but you can see the potential that is obviously better than what we had a couple of seasons ago there.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of differences though, because with us, where we had a very, very thin squad last season, we still had the same sort of tactics. We were starting to slowly get a couple of injuries, I think, and also everybody else around us wasn't performing as well. They weren't getting the results, so, and we just didn't never capitalise on that. And because we never bought anyone in January, that's why we dropped out of it. With Newcastle, they've still got some depth, and they've got players coming back from injuries. They bring players in. And they've got good enough quality to maintain wherever they finish. So I don't think they'll drop out like we did and end up in the Conference League. They'll at least get Europa League.
Yeah, and I think obviously then there'll be more money injected into the squad side and surroundings, and the only way I think is up for Newcastle. Let's see what else you say. Is Callum Wilson available? Yeah, he came on and scored against Manchester United late on in the game, so you should expect him to be available in there, and he'll probably start and score against us as he always does. I think the offside flag stopped him from scoring in the reverse fixture. I think he scored that disallowed goal. I'm not sure if he scored a couple of minutes after or not. I'll have to have a look, but yeah, he always seems to score against us, no matter where he goes, whether it's Bournemouth, Newcastle, wherever he's been. Callum Wilson. It's always those players that always score against us, but it is what it is. Did he score against us? 4th of February was the 1-1. Oh, he did as well. So I think he scored a disallowed goal and he scored that one. So expect him to be on the score sheet. If you're a better man, then your money's pretty safe there. James, I hope you are well, my friend, as well, and everybody else watching. In terms of our team news, Moyes mentioned today in his pre-match press conference. There's an in-depth look at that live on the channel now. I did earlier on, but the main sort of ideas from it was that Scamacca's not available. He's out for another 2 weeks with his rehabilitation to his knee, and not too many other injury worries that he discussed. So Kara is one player I do want to discuss. I thought he played better on Sunday. Soufal getting back to some form. What do you think Moyes does there, Phil?
If they play like that again, you're only, the stats saying you're only as good as your last game. So, if they keep up their fitnesses and, they're training well, they keep their place into the next starting 11.
Yeah.
If they, you carry on like that, then, you can only get better. With Carey's been a bit of a funny one, isn't it? Because he sort of looked okay at the start and then he just dropped off completely.
Yeah.
So he might be a slow burner. He might pick up some form and then he could end up being a cult hero in the end. Sort of a bit like, almost like Winston Reid when we had him. When he started, he weren't that great. And then gradually in time, he became a key player for us. So that could be the case with Kera. And with Soufal, it's, getting him back to full fitness. I know because it's not his best season. But, if we get him, because he's a trier and he works so hard. So if we get him playing 110%, he could be pretty solid on his day.
Yeah, I have been a big critic of Thilo Kehrer, and I think he still is a mistake there waiting to happen. But there was some positive signs, which is the first time I can say that. I think there were some positive signs there from Sunday. Obviously, playing Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday, 3 games in 6 days, we're going to expect to see some sort of squad rotation. In which game do you think Moyes will change it? Do you think he'll change it in this one or Saturday, Phil?
Oh, part of me feels like there won't be that many changes, to be honest with you. But I think if there was to change it, maybe... Oh, it is hard to say because, we're playing 2 really good footballing sides.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Honestly, I think there's not going to be many changes at all. No, I sort of mentioned earlier on that the logical thing to do in one of these 2 games is I picked out a couple of examples. Maybe Souček drops down to the bench and Downs comes on. Maybe Paqueta drops down and we bring Fornals on in that sort of number 10 role. Maybe Johnson gets a game in there. I'd like to see Emerson start with 3 because I do not trust Cresswell anymore, I'm afraid. So yeah, that's just a couple of options. Maybe there's going to be some alterations between who starts up front, whether it's going to be Ings or Antonio. So they'll probably chop and change that around. Maybe Cornet will start in one of them, opposed to Benrahma. That would be the logical sort of options to make. But I'm inclined to agree with you that I don't think we'll see too many changes throughout all of the games. He's got a squad there, which he hasn't had in all fairness to Moyes in seasons gone past. He's got a squad there now with options. Just whether he uses them. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think the one change probably where you could have what you said there about, chopping and changing with Ings and Antonio, because, we know what Danny Ings is like as a striker. We've seen it over the years with the clubs that he's played for, but you was there on the game the other day. He barely had any touches apart from one little dribble. Where he's not really getting the service.
And there was the outburst at the end as well when he came off. He was incredibly frustrated. I don't blame him. I don't understand it, because we've been told by sources near the club that Moyes analyses, and if there's anything wrong with the play, he doesn't like him. He's a perfectionist. He sits there and watches videos of every single player that he thinks is good enough, and then makes a decision. How and why in God's green earth he's looked and he's refused to sign a striker for years and years and years, and he's gone, right, Scamacca's the option, and especially Danny Ings is the option to bring in. Yes, he's highlighted as a Premier League proven striker, we get that, we know, but if he sat there and watched videos of Danny Ings, it's quite evident that he doesn't play in a one-man front line. You've got to get somebody near him, because the geezer's got no hope with Ben Rama out on the byline, with Bowen out on the byline, with Paqueta playing quite deep. He's in no man's land, and he was getting, picked off, and it's just frustrating.
I know. I really do feel sorry for him, because I don't want it to sound like everyone's going to get annoyed with him, because I can clearly see that he's not getting the service, and he looks visibly frustrated as well. I remember when I was at the the Europa League game against Larnaca. He come on, he weren't getting as many chances. And he looked frustrated there. He wasn't, he weren't running back as much. But look, we got to play. It's got to be a way of, playing two strikers up front. I know it's not as common nowadays, but there's still a way of doing it. Even if you're doing a 4-3-3 and the three attackers are quite close together, it still works. So it's just finding a way of doing that. Even if it's him and Antonio, or him and Scamacca, give it a go. There's no harm in trying it. Yeah,
and it's just if he's a football manager with the sense there, he's seeing the slow death of Danny Ings, that he's not getting any sort of service in any product, and yes, he's quite right to highlight that he's a proven Premier League striker. So Moyes not figured out in that brain that's somewhere up there that if he's a Premier League proven striker, he scores goals in the Premier League. Why is he not doing it here? It's because the system that you're playing doesn't. It annoys me. It annoys me. But anyway, it is what it is, isn't it? I don't think it's going to change. Get your predictions into the chat. What are you guys thinking for tomorrow? James says, don't forget we've got the Fab winning goal, Jake. That first half here was incredible. Yeah, I think I got it on the vlog, and I think you mentioned you saw it on the behind the scenes video. Yeah, there, an incredible reaction save, and yeah, it was a very good save. His reaction saves does get criticism at times, because sometimes he just stands there and watches it go in, but you've got to give him credit for that. Very, very good. 1-0 West Ham. Hopefully Soufal back to her, especially despite Carroll was good, I expect Soufal to come back, in my opinion. Antonio to start in place of Ings. That's probably two changes that I could comfortably see happening. Midfield changes, anything could happen. He'll probably stick with the 3. Damsel 4 nows for Souček. There we go.
Easier said than done, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Long at the bowling, hope you're welcome by Cats as well. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. David says 3-1. I do hope so. I can see this being sort of a low scoring game. We'll get into our predictions a little bit later, but I'm feeling more of a Sharky, maybe a 1-1. Let's have a look here. 0-0 says Luke. Wow. So yeah. Let's look here. Brad says, are you going to the game, Jake? We are not. We'll be going to the Youth Cup game though. That'll be exciting on Thursday. So yeah, look out for a vlog for that at some point. 3-1 Newcastle said long the not got the confidence there. Fair enough. 4-2 West Ham. Wow, that's the opposite end of it. Lots of goals. Can you see that? Wow, that will go down as a thriller for sure. But let's move on to that prediction then, Phil. As a few have come into the chat there. What are you going to opt for?
Yeah, it's a lot of it's a bit of a mixed bag, isn't it? What I just saw on the comments there, but depends on how the game's going to be. I don't know, but it's going to be a very generous 1-0.
1-0, yeah.
Yeah,
That's the sort of like nailed on. That's the safe bet, I think.
yeah.
So that will be good. I'm going to go for the 1-0 West Ham. It's between that 1-1 and 1-0. I am going to agree with somebody who said 1-0 West Ham. James did up here. 1-0 West Ham. I'm going to agree with you, James. Great minds think alike. And I believe it's going to be a goal from midfield. I don't know who's going to score it, but I'm going to say a goal from midfield. Let's have a look here. Long live the London Stadium. Well, no, Dad says, Phil, no need for any money. I hear Jake is buying the chicken. Wow.
Oh, good.
Chicken's on me, Phil. Chicken's on me.
I'll have a 3-piece chicken, extra chips, extra gravy, the lot, and a scone.
Oh. And a scone. Christ,
Yeah.
I didn't even know they did that.
Yeah, well, they call it a scone, but it's a biscuit. But they call it a biscuit, but it's like a savoury scone, basically.
Oh.
Yeah.
Phil's been there, and he's getting the ready menu ready. Popeye's chicken Thursday night. It's happening.
Yeah. No, we're a bit upper class than Dixie chicken. We're a bit more classy than that.
Yeah, Popeyes, if you know, it's basically like KFC, but it's about 5 times like nicer. So yeah. Looking forward to it. Long of the bowling, not after Sunday, or better than us, but are worse or less, if that makes sense. Yeah. It wasn't a great game at all, and you know the mindset I think we've got to have as fans is that if we get in the results, the performance is just, of course they matter to an extent, but if we're getting the results, then it doesn't matter as much. At this stage of the season, it's all about getting those points on the board, and if we could pick up a point tomorrow, I think that, get 4 points for 2 games. I think most West Ham fans would have snatched your hand off for that before the game on Sunday. So that's just what we've got to aim towards. If we could beat Newcastle, then brilliant, 6 points. That creates a sort of a gap then heading into the games. It doesn't take the pressure off, Phil, but it takes it off a little bit more than needing points. Like mustn't get the point here, otherwise we're going to go.
Yeah, it is. Look, we got the job done the other day, even though it wasn't the best of performances, but the main thing was getting 3 points. So you got that sort of a bit more relaxingness now. We're higher up the table, even though we're still sort of in it, like everybody else is who picked up points. But it does help, because if we didn't get anything from that game, then it would have been a completely different scenario, wouldn't it? So, so it does relax. It does ease the pressure a bit, but not enough, as you say. But getting another point, it does make all the difference. Yeah,
exactly. And it's just hoping we can get that as well. So let's have a look here. Popeyes is pretty good. I know we trialed it on Sunday, and it got all of our seals of approval. So we went, you know what, we're going to do it again. And Phil's going to come now, so it's going to be all good. And Dad's going to stay at home because he wasn't invited. No, he couldn't go. He says he wasn't invited, but he couldn't go.
That's all right.
Take a bad 1-0 West Ham. Yeah, I think we all would. It's not going to be the most prettiest game in the world, but it's all about those points. Long the bowling. Moyes, as Ben Rama and Bone playing deep, hence the lack of support for rings bang on, and it results in nobody getting absolutely anywhere near them, which doesn't help him whatsoever. Usual suspects. It's all about the points and nothing else at the moment. Have you tried Wendy's? I haven't tried Wendy's. No.
I have, yeah. First time I tried it was when I went to New York back in 2017. Ooh. Quite nice, and it was like their burgers are really nice, and it's not even round. It's almost rectangle looking. But I've had it once over here. I went to Camden, up in North London, so there was a Wendy's up there, and I had it there. That was quite nice. Different, and it is better than McDonald's, obviously, and I do prefer it over somewhere like Five Guys as well, which is a bit too much. It's a bit too extortionate.
Yeah, it's a bit silly. Yeah.
£8 for a burger.
Yeah. So there we go. That is Phil's chicken shop tour done for the day. Now, of course, just mentioning that FA Youth Cup game. Guess what West Ham have done, Phil?
What have they done, Jake?
They've released the programme information, and of course, a usual Premier League games programme is £4. They've treated us this week. It's going to be £2 commemorating.
Wow.
Oh, it's gone off of there because so it's all new, all this stuff. There we go. Commemorating the campaign so far. And look at that down there. Look, £2. Oh, the joys. We will be getting all over that. I mean, to be fair, for us in the posh seats on Sunday, we got one for free. But, you know, it is what it is, isn't it? It's going to be £2 more than I paid on Sunday, but
there you go.
That's what it is. No, all good. So yeah, we will be back with a build-up show tomorrow night ahead of the game. There'll be a vlog Thursday night, Friday morning, more likely, for the Youth Cup, and we'll have, of course, the content, maybe some content from outside London Stadium ahead of our game against Fulham on Saturday as well, if Phil brings his brolly with him. So yeah, thanks very much indeed, everybody. Phil, let's have some final thoughts then.
Yeah, well, let's see. We've got to win. Let's go and make an unbeaten run. How about that, eh? It's Newcastle. It's always a hit and miss with them. You never know what sort of result you're going to get with them. But let's hopefully get a nice performance out of the boys, and let's have something to smile about come Thursday morning.
Something to smile about. Let's hope so. So yeah, thank you very much indeed, everybody, for watching. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to West Ham Official. If you're new, check out our channel sponsors, SRM Carver and Son, by clicking the link in the description down below. Of course, as long as the bowling indicates here, there's a massive game going on down at the bottom of the table this week, or tonight, sorry, and it is Leeds versus Forest. So happy for a 0-0 draw in that one, just to sort of split it out a bit, or take one team out of it and keep one team in it. Depends what sort of, depends what sort of way you look at it. But hey ho, covered by Cats. Don't forget, we beat them 4-2 last year of the season opener.
We did,
if I remember correctly. I will not forget that one anytime soon. What a day that was. Yeah, we were up in altitude, up on Mars, watching that one. And yeah, that's a day I'll never forget. If you go back and watch the vlog, my voice is about 65 decibels up there. I've lost some weight in my face, and I'm a bit more, with it. Just watch it. Well, actually, don't watch it. It's quite embarrassing.
Right, you heard him. Let's watch it.
What I'll do is I'll just show you a quick. I'll show you the difference in me and myself, and that'll tell you all you need to know. If you were Mark Noble or somebody looking to sort of, try and continue this form on, what would you be saying to the players ahead of tomorrow, Phil?
I'll just say, look, it's not been a great season, but all I ask from you lot is go out there with a bit of pride and remember who you're playing for. And those fans out there, they want a performance from you. We're not going to win every single game, but this is, games like this is what we're made of. So let's go out there and show them that we do care, and we want the support, and we've got to be justified, and we want to stay in this league. And we want to be challenging up there again.
Exactly. That's exactly what we want to do. Well said, Phil. Well said. I'm just trying to find the best bit. Here we go. I'm just trying to find the best bit of this vlog. So just to give you a little insight to it. Here we go then. Right. Are you ready, Phil?
I'm ready.
Right, I can tell all the 20 people watching this right now are going to be ready for it as well. Right, so I'm not going to put the sound on because you trust me, you don't hear my voice. And I've skipped it ahead. Ready? So this was a penalty to make it 3-2. Dad's in this as well. Look. I've got to switch it around. Right.
Oh, you do look young there, don't you?
Just look at the face on him. Look. Here we go. Ready? Oh. Look at the contrast there, Phil. You can see it, can't you?
I know. Obviously, your hair's shorter as well.
It's a lot shorter, isn't it? Tell me about it. Tell me about it. So there we go. Look at me there. They're loving it. Look, go on. Come on. Get in there. Yeah, to get the lads in as well. There we go. So,
there you go.
Yeah.
You're a fully fledged astronaut being in those seats.
I am. Exactly that. Right then. So yeah, thank you very much indeed, everybody, for watching. That's your history lesson of West Ham Official for the day. Thank you later from us.
Come on, your irons.
And the final comment goes, Phil, Rich, fancy a night out up there with Jake when he's a bit older. two and a bit years, and the drinks will be on you because I won't be able to afford £8 a pint, not a chance. But no. Only joking. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Drop a like, subscribe. As I said, from us, come on your wines. Plenty of content coming this month with the congested fixture schedule. And thank you very much, Phil, for coming on.
Thank you, Jake. Pleasure as always.
And we'll see you soon. Thank you very much. And let's win tomorrow. Positive, Moyes. Positive. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.